You're listening to Worst of the Worst podcast. I'm Matt, and with me, as always, is Matty.
Going on?
And John.
Hey.
So today, what are we talking about, boys?
Worst conspiracy?
Spicy one. Spicy one.
What's your favorite conspiracy?
I like that when you're watching those dentist adverts, those toothpaste adverts, and they pour so much on it, but you actually only need it.
You only need a little pea.
You only need a little pea size, and that's all you need. It's big pharma trying to sell more toothpaste.
Is that a real one? That I think it might.
I think it's probably true. It's probably true.
Do you reckon that one's true?
Yeah.
Someone should ask a dentist about that. We could do that. We could reach out to a dentist and just say, how much toothpaste do you really need, mate? Come on. I know there's some weird cabal of sick dentists behind you, but just tell me straight.
I do like the idea that there's a secret society of dentists plotting against society.
Yeah.
For big profit. Another believable conspiracy that I probably believe in. Well, no, what do I say probably? I do believe is that Courtney Love killed Kurt Cobain.
Why?
Man, there's this really, really in-depth investigation by this independent investigator, and he released the reports, and all the evidence is damning, bro. I think the one thing that obviously throws it off is that the room was locked from the inside, but the way that he shot himself, he would have had to use his toe on the shotgun to pull the trigger.
That's not that hard.
It's not that hard. How often have you tried?
You've never had a bad day? You know?
I mean, I come home and then I jerk off and then I'm done with it, bro. Move on.
Without a shotgun.
I don't know what. Yeah.
What do you think Matty's doing?
What about Epstein though? Could Epstein not have realistically
You think Epstein's still alive?
Could have covered up his own death.
Maybe he was that powerful that they were like, can we pretend you're dead?
Because he's got to have hedges against his death, right? He's got to.
Bro, he could afford to get plastic surgery. He could afford to do any of that shit. And he's got so many names in his black book. He could have effectively had it done.
Epstein's being neutralized, bro. Epstein's being neutralized.
Well, that's what they want you to think. Sheep.
So what's the worst conspiracy then, Matt?
So the conspiracy that I've chosen could be quite divisive, but it's something that's quite relevant. It's 5G and its relation to COVID.
Yeah, okay. Tell me more.
Do any of you know what 5G is or any of the Gs?
How many Gs are there?
I think there's 5 of them.
Yeah, there was 5.
Was there never 1G?
Well, would it have been called, like, what was the one? GPRS? Did you guys ever have that? Like the signal, like the name next to your signal, like GPRS, then 3G, 4G. No?
So it went straight from GPRS to 3G. I don't know. I just don't know why they skipped 1 and 2G.
No, because the G stands for generation. It was the 5th generation in mobile networks. They're constantly evolving. So the 5th generation of mobile networks is, again, using radio waves to make internet speeds faster downloads, and basically connect the Internet of Things. And the Internet of Things is basically connecting all our devices together to have like one big interconnected internet community.
One big international community.
One big internet international community.
Wow.
So like having internet in your shoes and your tennis racket and coming home and having a smart house. Zuckerberg's future.
Okay, and that's what 5G is going to do. I thought 5G was just a little bit stronger than 4G.
Yeah, but every generation of Gs, every generation of Gs is moving towards the Internet of Things. Internet being connected to everything. But that's not what the conspiracy is
I like
about.
this generation of Gs.
I'm talking about the synchronicity.
What's the synchronicity? I mean, I know what I've heard that.
What kind of question is that, John?
Matt knows what I'm talking about.
Is that just like computers taking over, right?
When we merge with computers to become one.
I mean, it's a bit far removed from that, but I mean, it's the next step.
Like 6G is, we got a computer in our head.
I think it'd be pretty sick.
We're not that far away, bro.
We're not that far away.
So, what's your conspiracy then?
The conspiracy is the link between COVID and 5G. So basically, there was a huge rollout of 5G towers in Wuhan.
Yeah.
And that rollout apparently coincided with the COVID outbreak.
Apparently, or did?
They've been rolling out and implementing 5G for years, but the rollout in Wuhan was around the time that the COVID outbreak
There's a rough
happened.
correlation.
There's a rough correlation. So basically, people are linking 5G and the rollout of 5G to the outbreak of COVID. But the ideas conflict each other. So I just wrote down some quotes from some prominent Twitter figures. I don't know who they are. Their names mean nothing to me, but they get thousands upon thousands of retweets, thousands of likes, thousands of comments, thousands of people rallying behind this idea. Here's some tweets that gained mass attraction. 5G towers change the air with a corona charge. which gasses you and stops you from getting oxygen. We wish people would wake up and realize it's a scandemic, not a pandemic. So apparently 5G charges there with corona. Another one that they say is that 5G releases extreme amounts of radiation to your body through your phone signal. The 5G will also give the government access to your information and location through the RFID chip in the vaccine.
So who's doing this? The government?
They, whoever they are, the man. The conspiracy has so many conflicting ideas, and that's why I think it's the worst, is because they've rallied behind an idea that they can't all agree on. They can all agree that it's bad, but they can't agree on why it's bad. And that's why I think is hilarious, and that's what makes it the worst. So in order for them to believe that 5G is causing COVID, they think that locking down countries was going to help was going to help whoever the bad guys are, so that if you're locked down, they can put up the 5G towers. But also the 5G towers are the ones that are causing COVID. So those ideas conflict as well. And the 5G is also able to control you, track you, get your information through the 5G chips, or the what are they called? The RFID chips that are injected into you with the vaccine.
Bro, people know something is wrong. They don't have to necessarily know exactly how. They can feel it. They can feel it in the air.
Yeah, it's true that. People do generally get a vibe when something's not right. Do you know what I mean? And something hasn't quite been right with this.
We're talking about mostly simple, good rural folk, like salt of the earth people in America.
Yeah.
And they know intrinsically. They might not have fancy academic words that make people like you sit up and take notice, but they know when something's wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's a dangerous concept because
it's dangerous to send fucking 5Gs out into the air.
Yeah, really
which has less radiation energy than the light you get from the sun.
The sun's got a lot of radiation, bro.
Yeah, the sun's got an awful lot, mate. The sun's got an awful lot.
The sun is really dangerous, bro.
You know what? And I agree. And I'm saying that 5G is scientifically proven to have less radiation than the light you get from the sun. But just the light. I'm not saying the fucking skin
less
cancer.
Radiation than the sun is like saying it's got less radiation than like Chernobyl. Like, okay, great.
Yeah,
cool.
Exactly. Yeah,
that's awesome. I'm thrilled. That's good. That's
but
good to know.
What is that radiation? What is that type of radiation?
These Cheetos will kill you slower than cigarettes. Like, okay, that's super. I'm glad.
No, dude, you're comparing apples to oranges, and it's pissing me off because I don't have a counter right now, and I'm fucking angry about that. That really pisses me off because you're defending something so fucking asinine. I hate you.
But look, COVID's a new problem in it. You know what I mean? We didn't have COVID before.
No, but we did though. We did.
No, but we didn't though, Matt, and we didn't have 5G.
We had the SARS. What the SARS? It was existed. The SARS virus. I don't know what the fuck.
I don't remember SARS. I didn't see any pandemics before, and then we started. Yeah, 5G came around. We know that 5G is dangerous.
Oh, we know. How do we know that? How do we know that?
We know, bro.
Who's we? Who's we? And how do you know that?
Oh,
bro, you didn't even know what 5G was until I explained it to you. You fucking dick.
Matty is one of the salt of the earth folk. Yeah, Matty knows.
I never saw anything like COVID before. I never saw anything like it. All of a sudden, this 5G comes out. Huawei gets banned.
Huawei got banned way before fucking 5G, homie. No, but that was because of privacy leaks, right? And its affiliation with China.
Was it?
Yes. No, actually, yes. That's a very Googleable statistic.
Bro, I'm pretty sure Google gets money from installing these 5G towers, right? Isn't that to help you like transmit Google?
Has anyone attacked these 5G towers?
Actually, they have. They burnt down 20 towers in a week.
Amen, brother.
Now, why would they do that if it wasn't causing a problem?
What?
Are you saying rural folk are stupid?
Why would people take the time out of their day to knock a tower down? If they didn't
I don't know. Maybe they're unemployed fucking hicks that don't like technology.
Wow.
I know what I said. I stand by it.
So the people that the backbone.
The backbone of what?
Of America.
What?
Of America.
Unemployed, not doing anything. This was actually happening in the UK.
It was happening a lot in the UK. It was happening a lot in the UK.
And they even got some people from Merseyside to talk about it, and it's fucking hilarious.
Don't you slant the Merseyside on this podcast? I don't know. I mean, everything was fine a few years ago, wasn't it? All of a sudden, 5G, we're all locked down. It's a bit suspicious.
I'm just saying, it makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah. Okay.
we could stop the 5G. 4G was fine, wasn't it?
4G did a fine enough job.
It was
didn't
fine. Why don't we just go?
And no one was, people weren't sick when
Let's just
4G
see.
was around.
We
People
just
were
see. We
fine.
just go back to 4G for just.
How many people in Vietnam suffered from coronavirus? How many? And how many 5G towers do we have
Lots.
here? None. 5G doesn't exist here.
It got here because of it was boosted by the 5G.
By the way, radiation doesn't know borders.
Yeah.
Radiation crosses borders.
Yeah, bro. Just because the radiation from Chernobyl, occurs in Ukraine, it spreads all over the world, bro.
You guys are so fucking dumb. It's hurting me. It's hurting my bones. I cannot believe you're defending this shit.
Matt is scratching himself uncontrollably right now.
I know, it's frustrating me. It's dangerous. This sort of mindset, the us versus them.
They are the problem, bro. They're the problem. It's not us versus them. It's they're the problem, bro.
Who's they?
Yeah. You know who they are.
You know goddamn well who they are.
What's your problem, Matt? What's your problem?
My problem is that there's an idea that people get behind. Sure, great, get behind that idea, and let's push towards a greater goal. But no one can agree on why 5G is linked to COVID. But all they know is that it is. They say COVID towers were built to control us, and how are they going to control us? With the vaccines. Okay, sweet. But then they say they gave us COVID intentionally so we could be in lockdown. They implemented lockdown so that they could put up these 5G towers without us noticing. But then they also said that the 5G towers are the ones that are giving us COVID.
Not everyone believes in your fancy techno-socialist utopia. Some of us believe in a world where the man, flesh and blood by himself, creates himself. You know what I mean? Not a world where the machine just hands him.
I mean, they did make a lot of vaccines after
there was a virus introduced into the world.
5G towers were built. There did seem to be a lot of vaccines come out.
It's a dangerous mentality where people are causing destruction to property and attacking the everyday man. So you get people just installing fucking normal electricity wires getting attacked.
So ordinary folk are getting attacked.
Ordinary folk are getting attacked.
By you, mate.
Yeah.
By you.
By me.
Yeah.
Right now.
Okay. You know what? I'm going to put you both of you left-wing fucking commies in a room with a bunch of anti-5G advocates. And let's just see how long you guys last. I'd be fucking interested.
I'm pretty open-minded. I'm willing to hear what people have got to say.
That is such bullshit. I think the COVID and 5G conspiracy is the worst because you're rallying behind an idea that makes no sense, conflicting information, and it's dangerous. It's causing a divide. It's just another reason for people to hate each other. It's causing fucking rifts between society because people are scared of change. People are scared of change, and that's unfortunate. And the both of you are fucking dicks for defending it so vehemently.
Change isn't always good, broski.
Change is inevitable, though.
I know
isn't
you
it?
fucking techno-utopia nerds can't, you Elon Musk.
Oh, and you fucking primitive fucks can't accept that the world's changing. So it must cause COVID. It's new. You know what they were also scared of? Radio. People were scared of radio because it's changed.
Hey, man, the jury's still out, bro. Jury's still out.
The jury's still out.
Radio might hurt. We don't know.
How are people listening to this podcast? Probably on Wi-Fi or 4G, right? They were scared of that shit too. You wouldn't have this podcast without 4G or Wi-Fi or 3G or even Bluetooth. The earphones that connect to your phone to listen to this podcast. People are scared of Bluetooth. All of that shit causes cancer, apparently.
I got no problem with 4G. I've been pretty consistent. 4G is fine. 4G, I'll go back to that.
All them 4G towers, when they were getting built, I was like,
there was no COVID then,
progress.
Right? Matty was in his prime.
I was
bro.
loving it. I was loving every minute of it.
You should have seen. He's a shell of a man now. He's not the same.
Since them 5G
You've
towers.
been in Vietnam for the last 4 fucking years. 5G hasn't even affected you.
Man,
Is
really?
he insular, innit?
Wow.
On a serious note.
Okay, sure, whatever. Yeah, go ahead. Fucking, yeah, go.
Is it a dangerous conspiracy?
I think it's dangerous because it causes destruction to public property.
Well, we all know white South Africans are mostly concerned about property.
Don't you bring my heritage into this. I'm not.
We all know what you're concerned about. We all know property is the most important thing.
Nothing to do with us denying the biggest pandemic we've
yeah.
had.
I'm saying conspiracies. I like this.
Property
are
is number
causing
one.
a divide between society so that we're hating each other and fighting each other, when if the government is fucking us over, shouldn't we be uniting against them?
Yeah, and destroying the 5G towers that are enslaving us, bro.
Yeah, if only we all got behind that.
Fuck you guys, I'm leaving.
I think we can safely cross that one off our list of worst conspiracies.
I'm a little bit offended. By
Blow
Matt's
us
bits, to be honest.
away, Matty.
Y'all blow us away with whatever fucking amazing conspiracy you have.
Fucking wow me.
So, my worst conspiracy is that Paul McCartney is dead and that he died in 1966.
Who's that?
I know you love the Beatles, John. Don't you give me that shit.
So first you have to tell us who are the Beatles and why should we care?
Yeah.
So, the Beatles are more famous than any South African there's ever been.
Nelson Mandela would like to have some words.
I mean, I think the Beatles are probably more famous than Nelson Mandela. I would have to say.
I would.
Yeah, there are four Liverpudlians more famous.
Yeah, there's four of us more famous than anyone from your country ever.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah. Anyway,
Damn.
Paul McCartney died in 1966. Right. So the conspiracy is that he was in a car accident on the M1. Apparently, he got really specific.
Very
on it.
specifically.
Yeah. So he's on the M1, crashes his car, horrific, dies, and MI5.
Oh, MI5 gets involved.
Which is
yeah.
like Britain's FBI or
James
CIA or James Bond.
But that's how you
MI5.
know it's serious, though, is if MI5 got involved. Yeah.
MI5 got involved and said that to avoid mass hysteria in Britain, we need to get the winner of a Beatles lookalike contest.
Sure.
A
I'm on board.
Paul McCartney lookalike contest.
Sure.
To come in and replace Paul McCartney.
Yeah.
Basically. And this was a Canadian fella called Billy Shears, apparently. So Paul McCartney dies in this car accident in 1966. And a rumour comes out, kind of from nowhere, I think, just because every rumour that could have got made about the Beatles got made, if you know what I mean. So, like, a rumour came out that he died in a car accident after an argument with the other Beatles or something. Just something mad like that.
So what you're saying is Paul McCartney's dead.
Yeah. So Paul McCartney's dead. He died in this traffic accident. It got circulated around London that this had happened. And then basically it got, like, dismissed very quickly. Paul McCartney was on holiday at the time.
Convenient.
That's very convenient, yeah.
The Beatles fan magazine came out and were like, yeah, he's not dead, like, he's all right. And then it kind of got squashed for a while. And then in 1969, randomly, an American lad writing for a university newspaper wrote this article called "Is Beatle Paul McCartney Dead?" And then it got picked up by a radio station in Detroit, and there was this like hour-long conversation about it. And then it just got picked up then by all these different radio stations, and it just started a craze, especially college campuses in America. It was just going wild, all these rumours about Paul McCartney, and it was just building and building and building. And loads of people are like experts on the Paul McCartney's dead conspiracy, do you know what I mean? And then it just spread. So there was like TV specials, radio specials. Like the media loved it that Paul McCartney's dead.
Who was hurt by this conspiracy?
Who was hurt by this
Paul
conspiracy?
McCartney, he was hurt. He
I'm gonna
died.
take a different
Paul
track.
McCartney was not hurt by this conspiracy.
He died.
I'm gonna take a different track because I was arguing against Matt's argument because obviously 5G is terrible. But I'm gonna argue a different tactic with you. Matt's argument was his is not the worst because 5G is a terrible thing. Your argument, your conspiracy is not the worst.
COVID's fine though.
COVID is also bad, not as bad as 5G, right? But I'm gonna argue differently. Your conspiracy is not the worst conspiracy because no one's hurt.
Well, Paul McCartney was hurt. He died. And you know who would have been hurt? The rest of the UK, dude. You know how they love to fall into their mass hysteria. One fucking important person dies and they queue for 30 hours. Imagine if Paul McCartney had died. The Queen's queue. You think the Queen's queue was long? It would have been huge. Well, so it makes sense that he was dead.
They're fragile people.
So that's what makes yours isn't the worst because it's believable. Because your nation are a bunch of mass
mine's the worst.
I'm saying yours is not the worst because no one's hurt by it.
It's the worst because it's ridiculous. It's the worst because it's ridiculous.
It's not ridiculous.
We can all agree. The 5G conspiracy is not ridiculous. But Paul McCartney dying is definitely ridiculous.
Oh yeah,
We can all agree on
of course
that.
it is. What their suggestion is that
5G is a menace.
they replaced Paul McCartney in 1966 with a lookalike, gave him some plastic surgery, and then he went on to make a load of Beatles albums and then have a big solo career and, just be more Paul McCartney for the rest of his days.
What a lucky break for this Canadian, dude.
Bro, if somebody was like, hey, do you want to get a ton of plastic surgery and live as Paul McCartney for the rest of your life? You would say yeah.
And it wouldn't
Oh,
be
yeah, you
that
would.
hard to do. It wouldn't be that hard to.
No.
It wouldn't be that hard.
It wouldn't be. It wouldn't be that
Bro,
hard
look-
to be the
look-
best musician on the fucking planet.
You know how many
probably.
good musicians got overshadowed by the Beatles? All of them.
Mm-hmm.
All
'Cause
of them.
The Beatles were better than them.
No, just because of a lucky break, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So Paul McCartney is maybe the most talented Beatle.
He writes show tunes, bro. He writes show tunes.
Oh, fuck off. Stop it. But yeah, so there was loads of different telltale signs for people, right? So it was a craze, you know
Come
what
on,
I
give
mean?
us some,
To,
give
to,
us
to
some.
look into.
Bro, he is not wearing shoes on Abbey Road. You look
So
at
he's
Abbey
not
Road.
wearing shoes. He's not wearing shoes on Abbey Road. And
I
he's
mean, that's a
at
dead
also-
giveaway.
Look at it.
Dead giveaway.
Yeah, man.
So, okay,
What's your argument there, huh?
you mentioned Abbey Road. Abbey Road comes out in 69, right?
Mm-hmm.
After all of this Paul McCartney's Dead talk.
Mhm.
Capitol Records loved it.
Mm-hmm.
The Beatles knew. I mean, there's a quote from John Lennon where he says, "The rumor's nonsense, but it's good publicity for Abbey Road."
I mean, that's what you would say. That's what you would say if you did pull off this heist.
You're saying that this not only didn't hurt anybody, it actively made them money.
Yeah.
That's not the worst. It's actually a great marketing tool.
No, it's the most ridiculous, John. It's the most ridiculous. It's the least credible.
He's not wearing shoes, bro.
Yeah, so he's not wearing shoes, and he's also holding his ciggy in his right hand rather than his left, even though he is left-handed.
You know, I always smoke with my right hand. If I ever smoke with my left hand, someone's replaced me. I agree. I'm on board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He also is wearing black on the album cover for Magical Mystery Tour when the others are wearing, I don't know what they're wearing. I think it's white or red. But he's wearing black, and he's the only one wearing black.
That's significant.
So-
They made that choice for a reason, Matty.
He's dead.
Yeah,
Obviously.
he is dead.
Yeah. There's also, in Strawberry Fields, at the end of Strawberry Fields, John Lennon says cranberry sauce.
What is the significance of that?
He just says it. He wants to say cranberry sauce. But he says it quite inaudibly. And people think he's saying, I buried Paul. But he isn't.
Oh, dude, I just got goosebumps, bro. Now you've actually sold me. Dude, I changed. Best conspiracy, this one. This one is actually the best.
You know what? The thing that's really good about this conspiracy is that people went looking for it. So there's nothing really there unless you're looking for it. Do you know what I mean?
Is that not true of all conspiracies, though? Like, you have to look for
Well, all
it. It has
ones
to.
that aren't true, yeah. So post 69, the Beatles do play with it a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, they enjoy it. I mean, Paul McCartney released a live album and called it Paul is Live. You know what I mean? Like, they enjoyed it. They played with it. So in Glass Onion, which again is released on the White Album after this rumour's become a big thing, he says, what?
The Walrus is Paul?
Yeah, here's another clue for you all. The Walrus was Paul. He says, here's another clue for you all because people love it. It's a craze to look into it.
So
And
this actually brings joy to people.
Sorry?
Actually, so this conspiracy, this worst conspiracy, actually brings joy to people.
It brings weird obsessive behaviour from people, maybe, Joy. You could spin it that way if you want. But people are looking for ridiculous stuff. People's hands are above Paul's head in this picture, therefore he's dead. Or on the back of the album cover to Sgt. Pepper's, George is pointing to a lyric and it's Wednesday and Paul probably died on a Wednesday. It's mad. If you actually look into what people look for.
They're leaving clues, man.
On Revolution 9, they say turn me on dead man.
If you play it backwards.
If you play it backwards, yeah, sorry. So that was a massive thing.
It's number 9. Number 9.
Yeah.
Number 9. Number 9.
The whole craze around playing tracks backwards, I think, came from this.
Oh, it was Revolver. Well, in Revolver, they started playing the solo. Play that backwards, right?
Well, they literally play the guitar backwards on tracks, yeah. But people were buying Beatles tracks. Like, people were in love with this theory that much that they were buying Beatles albums and breaking them because they were playing them backwards to try and find these hidden messages.
I don't know, man. It doesn't sound like the worst conspiracy. It sounds like the best conspiracy.
It's the most harmless and maybe the most fun. I think you're just the scouser who doesn't want to admit that an Irishman could replace
Was a Canadian.
Canadian, whatever. Sir, whatever. Canadian, even worse.
Yeah, that offends you. That actually offends
That's
you.
even worse than an Irishman, yeah. So the worst conspiracy didn't harm anybody or hurt anybody in any sort of way. It upset Paul for a second until it made him more money. Okay, that's okay. That's way worse than
5G and COVID.
Look, I just thought I'd bring something nice, light-hearted. Paul McCartney apparently is dead. It's a ridiculous conspiracy. It's endured fucking years. Like, it's amazing that this conspiracy is still around. But it is.
Okay, all right. But what about a conspiracy that's tearing apart the greatest country in the world?
Who's tearing apart Canada and why?
In 2017, did you go to 4chan? Did you guys ever go to 4chan?
No,
I'm in high school?
I'm a good person.
No.
You don't know 4chan?
I value my
4chan?
mental health.
I went to 4chan in high school. It's
4chan?
like 4chan is like Matt probably knows more about 4chan than I do.
It's like a forum where you get to post anonymously and
But take Reddit, but for like Reddit for psychopaths.
Reddit for psychopaths, like a forum where you can say whatever the fuck you want and it's unmoderated.
I've been on it in high school. It is one of the low places of the internet, right? But in October 2017, a poster called Q. The name is longer than that, but essentially the person who we know as Q, a being's appearing, start talking about the storm. And the storm is when Donald Trump is going to purge the world of the cabal of pedos.
Ooh.
That is taking over the world.
I don't know, I feel like that's a mission I could get behind.
So it's not the most convincing theory, but what makes the QAnon conspiracy so insidious is that it is almost whatever theory you want it to be.
Okay.
It is essentially the one core theory that everything else stems from is that the world is run by a cabal of pedophiles.
But now, is that so hard to believe though? I don't think that's so hard to believe. I think Epstein and his gang of homies prove that this is a potential thing that could be happening.
I do think that there are lots of rich and powerful men that get away with bad things.
Yeah.
1,000%.
Okay.
There's no doubt in my mind about that. But to think that not only are there these bad men in control of the media,
Yeah.
Donald Trump is the savior. He was enlisted by the military to cleanse the government of this cabal. That is really the core theory, and there's tons of branches from it.
I feel like, look, if there was someone to cleanse the earth of pedophiles, Trump's a good face for it.
We all know how much we deeply respect Donald Trump on this podcast.
Well, you don't.
No, I don't really love America, to be fair. But basically, Democrats are a bunch of blood-sucking pedophiles, and Donald Trump is locked in a war against them. He rightfully won the election.
Yeah.
Because
both times.
Are you suggesting he didn't?
No, but I'm also suggesting that QAnon believes this as well. So 2 points. One, we still don't know who this Q is. The person posting these, we still have no idea, which is kind of odd because you.
So is this just like a social media post that came out one day?
There've been over 5,000 posts from
on what?
Well, so they've moved around to different spaces. They've been in 4chan, what I told you about, which is like a forum that's even worse than Reddit. They moved to Reddit. They got kicked off of Reddit. Now they're at 8chan, which makes, or I think it might be off 8chan now. I'm not sure where they're found. But 8chan is like, if 4chan is the asshole of America or the internet, 8chan is like the deep colon. Like 8chan is like child porn is like not a big deal. Sort of places like we're talking dark web.
Yeah.
So that's where this stuff is located. But here's what makes it actually the worst: is that as of December 2020, which I know was a while ago, what percentage of America believed that there was a cabal of blood-sucking pedos? Pedos, yeah. Sorry. If not in control, trying to take control of society and the media.
Am I QAnon? Because I'm following and I'm on board for everything you're saying.
What percentage of Americans?
Yeah.
I don't know, 35.
17% of Americans, almost 1 in 20, think that Democrats are sucking the blood of children.
Is it specifically Democrats, though? Is it specifically Democrats?
It is pretty specifically Democrats at this point. But that's the beauty of QAnon, is that, so here's one of his posts. Bracket L bracket capitals. Loretta Lynch was the Attorney General at the time.
Okay.
Talking, lowercase, equals, all caps, truth, lowercase, reveal, all caps, tarmac, bracket, BC, bracket, question mark. These are it's nonsense. It's nonsense. And people are delving, they're reading into the code.
Yeah, because he's dealing with sensitive information, bro.
Yeah, he doesn't want to get ousted,
This
bro.
man, supposedly, he was very high up in the military, and he is
So
leaking
he's speaking in code.
He's speaking in code, right?
Yeah.
Speaking in code. So his nonsense is what passes for code, right? Every prediction this person has made has come to no fruition.
Yet.
Yeah.
Yet.
The Pizzagate was the first real time that QAnon came onto the scene. An armed man stormed a pizza restaurant, thinking there was a sex trafficking ring in the basement run by Democrats, which is honestly noble. It's a noble
What a
thing.
hero.
It's fucking heroic.
If you really thought there was a child sex trafficking ring under that pizza parlor, like, good for you. You know
Wouldn't
what
you
I mean?
do the same?
If you
truly
I
believe
would.
these people sound brave to me.
I would hope that I would do the same. You know what I mean?
You're
But,
convinced me
like,
this might be the greatest country on the planet.
it is the greatest country on the planet. Thank you.
So QAnon supporters are trying to expose pedophiles, right? And you're against them.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
So you're pro pedophilia.
I'm not pro QAnon.
Sounds to me like you're a bit of a nonce defender.
QAnon and I have similar goals.
Trump's saving us. Trump's gonna sort this shit out.
Now Trump is actively courting QAnon. He's referencing it. He's playing music associated with it. He is getting closer and closer to open embracing of this wild conspiracy theory.
Trump's engaging with it. Trump.
Yeah, he's actively
Oh.
now he's actively engaging with it, bro. It's almost one in
To me, it sounds just like a group of heroes.
It's almost
a
one-
group of heroes calling upon their savior, and he's responding.
almost 1 in 5 Americans.
That is actually insane.
It's disgusting.
That is insane.
What's the source for that?
So
1 in
New-
5.
New,
That's a
New York,
lot.
New York Times. I showed it to Matt. It's insane.
Yeah.
I can multiple outlets, multiple polls. There's an Ipsos poll. It was 17%.
Both of your conspiracies are fucking dangerous, to be honest.
It's
Both of yours.
terrible.
Like mine's just playful. You know what I mean? Mine's funny.
Making it not the worst.
If the real Paul McCartney had gotten murdered over this, then I would say it was the worst. But it was a harmful joke that ended up going bad.
Paul McCartney's a national treasure, bro.
He is, bro. Him and David Attenborough, I think are the two remaining.
Don't get me started on David Attenborough. No one's shit doesn't stink. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just. There's questions that need to be asked
About Sir David Attenborough.
about
About one of the greatest humans to ever grace their presence on this planet.
He's worked for the BBC for a very long time.
Because he's reliable.
I'm just saying, if you worked for a company that had an irregularly large number of sex offenders come through it, and you've got a fella who's been there for like 60 years, would you not ask him a question or two?
I bit my tongue when he slandered Her Majesty the Queen.
Like, that's the worst conspiracy. Because you just made it up right now.
I'm just saying I'd ask him a question or two. I'm not saying he is a paedophile. I'm not saying he isn't. I'm just saying, I'd see what he's got to say.
I don't even know. That's like saying Jimmy Carter's a pedophile.
Jimmy Carter,
And Jimmy Carter is
was he a Democrat?
yeah.
I mean, bro, it's not looking good.
That's a good point. Bill Clinton, probably a fucking pedo.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
I don't know. He looks like a man that knows how to party.
I think being a good
does,
I think
it does.
being a good politician and a good person are dramatically different skill sets.
Yeah. So you're saying politicians are generally bad people?
Yes. But are they a cabal of pedophiles? But are they a cabal of pedos that drink and bathe in the blood of children.
Oh, do they drink and bathe with the blood of children?
But again,
Wait, tell me more about the blood of children.
so
I had that
the-
erection, man.
I can't when I'm fucking video now.
the basic conspiracy, from my understanding, is it's just a cabal of pedos. But you can take it a million ways.
But okay, the paedophiles. But what does that mean for the?
So that's the beauty of the conspiracy, right? Is if you're like, I'm not sure that Joe Biden actually eats baby fingers every night to like sustain his youthfulness, right? You can still not go that deep into the crazy and still believe that like Trump is
But
actually.
So I have a question though. So if QAnon had chosen a different leader that wasn't as ridiculous as Trump, say someone like fucking, I don't know,
Tom Cruise.
or Bill Nye the Science Guy, would QAnon be less unreasonable as a conspiracy? Like if it was Bill Nye the Science Guy or fucking, I don't know,
But they would never.
Steve Irwin. If it was Steve Irwin leading the purge against this cabal of fucking pedophiles.
Steve Irwin was taking on the pedos with Backham.
If Donald Trump hadn't been president, they wouldn't have mentioned Donald Trump, right? He happened to be the president at the time. Not to derail things, but we took the whole Steve Irwin was stung by a stingray story pretty easy, didn't we? Now that I think about it.
Who is he hurting though? Why would anyone want to off him?
I'm just
People who
saying.
wanted to get into the animal TV game.
Did
might
anybody
have
question
a bit of a
that?
monopoly on it.
Nobody
Big
questioned
discovery.
that, huh? Nobody questioned that. They could have easily just shot him in the middle of the ocean and been like, "Yeah, it was a stingray. Bummer."
Was it not on film?
Have you seen a film? I haven't.
I think it was filmed.
I'm pretty sure you wouldn't release that film. It's literally someone dying.
John would watch it.
This isn't America where they just
It's not
televise
4chan,
the
Matt.
fucking assassination of who is that big
Saddam
terrorist?
Hussein.
That one.
That big terrorist.
That
Racist.
big.
Whoa. Look, all I'm saying is QAnon is a fascist conspiracy that's destroying my country. That's all I'm saying about it. I think it's just a bad deal.
I'm just saying their end goal is to end the cabal of pedophiles that we all agree could be fucking running the
so-
To
country.
be fair, you're attacking a group of people that are against paedophilia.
That they want to do good. They want to do good. They want to.
Fuck.
And who are they hurting? Who are they hurting?
Not children. They're trying to
Yeah,
help
they're trying
them.
to protect the children.
Trying to help them.
Won't somebody think of the children?
Why are you against people who are trying to stop paedophilia?
Several episodes ago, we talked about the worst cult. And I would like to apologize to all Scientologists out there because your cult is not the worst.
I love how you still refer to it as a cult.
It's silly and horrific, but it's not the worst cult. The worst cult is QAnon.
For being against hurting children.
Yeah. Good to know where you stand.
Obviously, we come on here, we have disagreements, we argue about things. I thought one thing we could all agree on is that we don't want to hurt children.
And attacking a group that are actively trying to prevent
And
it.
so heroically as well. Going into a restaurant, wait, was it some place?
A pizza
Trying to
parlor.
defend a pizza place and
Yeah.
defending these kids that are being harmed.
Look, I know you guys have not been trained in the ways of democracy.
Oof.
I understand that freedom is something you've read about it in books. You've seen it on TV, American TV, but you're not.
Your country literally isn't a democracy.
Right.
But okay.
Look, while Matty comes from a country where people are being forced out of their jobs for not going to see a box,
No one's been forced out the job.
I come from a
No one's
country
been forced out
with
the
a
job
with
for
a
it.
rich democratic tradition. All right, there are no royalists in America. We don't divide ourselves like that. You
Yeah.
know.
Americans have had no issue with freedom ever.
No, bro, we're pro freedom.
Yeah, always.
Yeah.
We're pro
Always.
freedom. Read the history books, man. We're very
Yeah.
pro freedom.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah, we like freedom. That's our
know.
thing, bro.
That's the only thing as
That's
well.
our thing. Free healthcare, nah. Racial equality, nah. Freedom, yeah, okay.
Yeah, you can have freedom.
And you know who wants freedom more than anyone else is QAnon. They want freedom of our children to be safe.
Exactly. What a fucking noble thing to do.
There was a legit a drive. I can't remember for which nonprofit it was called. That has hashtag Save the Children, and QAnon co-opted it.
Do you know what though? Like, oh god, they're fucking stupid, but like, their heart's in the right place. You know what I mean? They're just trying to save kids
They're just trying to save kids.
and their country. you
And
know?
they're hurting no one. They're literally hurting no one.
Yeah, except for the foundation of the country.
Oh yeah, how?
How
Yeah.
they're
How?
voting for people that actively don't believe in democracy, that elections are only valid when your side wins.
Would you like to silence QAnon?
I wouldn't throw them in. I wouldn't throw Q in jail.
If it's one fella, because we don't know
We-
who's
we-
making these posts. If it's
Which is
one,
badass, frankly. We don't. It's
yeah.
badass.
If it comes out that like it's Joe Bloggs,
Right.
would you want him to be locked up? No.
I would still say he shouldn't be put in prison.
Like for fucking, I don't know. Is there a charge like disrupting the peace or so?
What I haven't gone through all 5,000 of Q's posts, but at no point does it seem like they're calling for active violence.
So they're harmless.
Charles Manson was still charged with murder. I think he's still responsible. I think like Facebook has an obligation to not let him post. Like Facebook doesn't have any obligation to honor First Amendment. They're not America.
I think when Trump engages with these crazy right-wing groups, though, he's got a responsibility above his head. He knows exactly what he's doing.
He's smart enough to know what he's doing. But he's got a lot of legal problems right now. You need everybody on your side you can get.
And that's 17% of...
At least. That's in 2020.
Conspiracies are wild nowadays, though. Like,
I mean, there's a general lack of trust in the system, right? And I get
Yes.
that. I get that. I think any intelligent person is like, this does seem fucked.
you know, when I was reading up on the Paul McCartney one point that was made was that, like, in the 60s, there was loads of conspiracies. I mean, you think back, there was. The McCartney one is, as much as it's a silly one, it's a big conspiracy. The moon landings, JFK,
9/11.
In the 60s.
Oh, sorry. My bad. I lost
They
track
knew
of
what
what you were
happened.
talking
They
about.
knew.
I lost track. My bad.
But my point is, there's fertile ground for it. Do you know what I mean?
Lots
and
of
I
drug
think it's
use.
like
Lots of psychedelic drug use.
probably a lot of drug use, but also probably a lot of, like, you know, as you say, distrust in the state, all of that. And there's a lot of that right now.
And now you have social media to propagate it, though, because
Yes.
now everyone has a
Yeah.
voice. It's like a wildfire. You
Right.
say one thing and it can catch on immediately.
One of the articles I was reading talked about the people that caught on to Q. Like, Q was just posting in 4chan, and there was a handful of people that, like, propagated it and spread it.
What is 17% of America? Like what number are we talking
So,
here?
I don't...
About 60 million
Yeah,
people.
350?
My
Is that the
goodness.
amount of people in America?
It's a lot of people.
That's a
yeah.
lot of people.
It's sick, bro.
That's too many
and,
people.
yeah, it's too
That's
many
too many
fucking people.
people.
It's way too many.
Too many people to defend children.
Actually, no, you're right. I'm on your side again. Sorry. Yes, I agree.
Jesus Christ, Matt.
Honestly, it's the scariest thing I've researched for this pod. I've researched some shit that I've wished I didn't research, like horrible shit, but this is the scariest. It's bad. It's really bad.
Thanks for listening. If you want to get in touch with us, you can contact us on Facebook or Instagram at Worst of the Worst Podcast, or you can contact us on Twitter at Worst of the Worst Pod. Alternatively, you can shoot us an email at worstoftheworstpodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to know your thoughts on which conspiracy you think is the worst.
If you want to help us out, please share. Thank you very much for listening.
Until next time.